Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching OneMindSyndicate. Today we continue talking about the Adeptus Custodes as we get into the Shadowkeepers and we talk a little bit about the Dark Cells. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day. If you have any suggestions, just comment down below. And if you do enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. Link in the description if you want to support us. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Dark Cells and the Shadowkeepers. Many human mythologies, both ancient and the product of the collapsed civilizations on thousands of worlds during the Age of Strife, carried legends of apocalyptic wars of the gods, in whose aftermath terrible weapons were left on the desolate battlefields for the gods' inheritors to find. At the height of humanity's ancient dominion during the Dark Age of technology, unbridled and recklessly potent human sciences had unlocked potentials within the human genome, as well as releasing forbidden technological terrors upon humanity, as it suited the whims of the scientist kings of the Lost Age. Nowhere was this more apparent than on ancient Earth, the seat and capital of the ancient empire, and storehouse of its secrets. For centuries, such dreaded secrets slumbered in forgotten bunkers and armored vaults lay the masterless gene looms and autosurgical chambers of the Dark Age of technology, waiting for the ignorant and the power-hungry to set them to work once more. The end result of their inevitable rediscovery was a world already plunged in violent anarchy and environmental collapse, made infinitely worse by the abused powers of those lost gods and devils of ancient science. These outcomes included genetically tailored warfare, desperate schemes of blood-bought immortality and power, and the hulking grotesqueries of once human shock troops driven into battle by the ambition of crazed warlords. Mutation, monstrosities, disease, and death unimaginable were all let loose by the warlord's lust for conquest. Such was Terra's long night. During the bloody years of the Unification War, when the Emperor launched his campaign to finally crush the last of the techno-barbarian warlords and the tyrants that held sway over mankind during the Old Night, and later during the galaxy-wide campaign to reunite the worlds of mankind, the Emperor encountered many technological terrors, unholy constructs, and vile entities, created both by human and Xeno alike, as if they had been dragged up from pure nightmares. The Emperor knew that such technology could not be allowed to fall in the hands of the unwary, nor could such foul aberrations be allowed to walk amongst the worlds of mankind, for they would be humanity's inevitable downfall. In his wisdom, the Emperor charged a detachment of his own legal custodes to act as both wardens and gaolers, to hold eternal vigil over the horrors they had encountered, to lock them away deep beneath the massive Imperial Palace complex of Terra itself. These items and captured entities could be sequestered to the vaults of Rhython, where they would be held with rune-locked portals and warded by the powers of Sanctic Circles, forbidden to all except their eternal guardians, the so-called Wardens of Rhython, and the Emperor himself. 10 millennia later, after the Emperor had enough sense to lock these abominations away, to the shield host of the Adeptus Custodes, known as the Shadowkeepers, falls the sacred duty of standing guard over the vaults of Rhython, now known as the Dark Cells, a particularly sequestered and forbidden subdivision deep in the levels below the Imperial Palace complex on Terra. The Shadowkeepers hold the keys to the rune-locked portals hidden beneath the Imperial Palace. They alone know the ways by which the runic locks may be disengaged, and the wards unbound, and the Sancted Circles breached. They alone know that these things must never happen, for the Dark Cells hold such horrors at bay that mankind's sanity would not survive their release. A full shield host is devoted to this grim responsibility, over 100 custodians patrolling the dark and silent corridors, vigilantly watching over the last terrors of Old Night. It is a task that would soon drive most men mad, for though neither sight nor sound can escape the forbidden cells, the air of those corridors is charged with dread. A perpetual menace thickens the shadows and makes them crawl. Even the superhumans of the Adeptus Custodes are forever on edge in those dark dungeons, for the sense of unspeakable threat never wanes. It is a testament to the discipline and spiritual fortitude of the Shadowkeepers that they stand their guard unflinching, sometimes for solar decades at a time. There have been many Custodes shield captains charged with the mastery of the Shadowkeepers. This appointment confers the title of Lock Warden, a name that is used in perpetuity and garners solemn respect from every other member of the 10,000. The Lock Warden must be the sternest of all guardians, and the most unrelenting and alert Galor in the face of Terra. Moreover, should any creature or relic escape the dark cells, or newly emerged threat need to be imprisoned therein, it is the duty of the Lock Warden to personally oversee the operation. These Lock Wardens hold oath of protections which help them to focus on the task at hand to the exclusion of all else. They carry ancient weapons of mysterious province, their use intended as a last resort should anything ever break free from the dark cells. For 10,000 standard years, the Shadowkeepers have performed their duty, yet the opening of the Great Rift changed everything. With the power of chaos spilling raw and seething into the space between the stars, new abominations have come to light. Worse still are the cells that stand suddenly empty, the entities and artifacts once contained within, spirited away by some unholy force to curse the galaxy once more. Fearing the consequences of such dreaded remnants of the Age of Strife falling into the wrong hands, the Shadowkeepers at last sent their warriors out into the galaxy. Not since the Dark Age of the Horus Heresy, during the burning of Prospero, has the shield host deployed in mass. In this darkest of ages, these jailers must kill that which should not be, slaughtering all those who seek to impede them before returning their foul prizes to the cells where they belong. The expertise and unbreakable faith of the Shadowkeepers has been called upon by the Imperium in ages past. At some point between the 33rd and the 39th millennia, the Halo Belt Augurs revealed a space hulk known as Ominous Gift, advancing out of the dark void towards Terra. Using his status as a High Lord of Terra to overcome objections by the Imperial Navy, Captain General Azoth Kumandra orders a strike by several shield companies to cut the craft from the inside and ensure its corruption is wholly purged. Those outside of the Adeptus Custodes do not understand the significance, but the attack is led by the Lock Warden of the Shadowkeepers and a band of his black-armored comrades. The ominous gift is destroyed, and the wider Imperium never knows any more than that. In the 41st millennium, whispers engulf Terra, beginning with the disappearance of the notorious conservative Captain General Galahath. Battling the stagnation of Galahath's rule, the Adeptus Custodes find themselves facing a shocking increase in cult activity, both heretical and xenophile, throughout the Sol system. Doomsday sects trigger Q-wars between the pilgrim tribes within the Emperor's Palace itself. The Custodians are forced to exercise their authority in the bloodiest fight they have ever seen in centuries. Reports from the dark cells cite a growing sense of agitation amongst the hidden inmates, and numerous support servitors have to be destroyed by the Shadowkeepers after they exhibit sudden, violent madness. Worse is to follow, as possession is revealed amongst a subsect of the Doomscryers of the Imperial Palace itself, though not until the false predictions of the fallen Psyker sends Captain General Lawsendred to his death at the Battle of Gilded Pyre. Amidst this climate of spiraling paranoia and danger, Captain General Tarjan Valoris is elevated to command the 10,000, and he wastes no time in taking steps to regain ironclad control of Terra's defenses by using his Shadowkeepers. The current Lock Warden incumbent is Shield Captain Borsa Thursk, who has been Lock Warden for a century and a half. He is a grim and frighteningly intense warrior whose utter fearlessness and steel vigilance makes him ideal for this role. It speaks volumes about the dire conditions of the galaxy that Thursk has left Terra but twice before the breaking of the storm, yet he has barely set foot there since the Great Rift yawned wide. Upon the direct orders of Captain General Valoris, a small, fast-moving force of custodians make haste for the ruined remains of Cadia. Details of their mission is suppressed, even amongst their comrades, but they are accompanied by a number of warriors drawn from the ranks of the Shadowkeepers, along with Borsa Thursk's. And those were 40 facts on the Shadowkeepers / the Dark Cells. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think I'm going to create a video showcasing all the different horrors that actually exist within the Dark Cells. And I'm going to take creative liberty and mess around with a couple things. Just because I kind of have an idea of what is actually hidden beneath, or was hidden, in those Dark Cells. If you guys enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. Link in the description if you want to support us. It's a simple $1 a month, and it helps us create more videos for you guys. Thanks for everything. I'll talk to you tomorrow. This was Gershwan with OneMindSyndicate signing out.
Oh, refuse to put my freedom first in any situation.